Hey guys, Mike in the Woods here. Today I thought we'd take a look at my own custom designed 3D printed hobo fishing reel. As part of my mission, one of the things I want to do is take a look at how fun futuristic tech can intersect with outdoors experiences, and 3D printing is a great avenue for me to do that. So today I thought I'd go over the design decisions that went into making this, as well as take it out for a test spin. And real quick before we get started, you know the drill. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, hit the like button if you find this interesting, and leave any questions you have down below. Let's get into the video. So, not gonna lie, when I started out testing this thing, I didn't have any experience with hobo fishing rods whatsoever. And if you watched my series on my Lost Fisherman Survival Challenge, you know that I don't have much experience with fishing, period. The idea of a hobo fishing rod originally came to me when watching, who was it? I think it was MCQ Bushcraft. I thought it was a neat idea to have a portable fishing tool. It wasn't until I saw a few 3D models for them online that I realized I could design and 3D print my own. So that's exactly what I did. The biggest advantage to being printed in plastic, as opposed to being made out of solid wood, is the weight savings. I capitalized on this by trying to hollow out the reel as much as possible without sacrificing structural integrity. The handle is hollow, of course, in order to store tackle, and I made a friction-held cap to keep everything in place. I also hollowed out the spool portion, as there was no point in keeping it completely solid, but I left the thickness of the spool wide enough to give it a lot of structural integrity, even when made out of PLA, which is what this prototype's made out of. I'm not sure how much line the spool can hold, but I think I managed to fit somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 yards of 10-pound fishing line on there. It's certainly not an insignificant amount. Other design features include a ridged handle to try and improve your grip, and divots around the bottom of the spool to hook your fishing hook into when not in use, in order to keep the line taut for storage or travel. I kept the design pretty small. This thing measures in at about 14.2 centimeters long by 5 centimeters in diameter at the thickest part of the spool, and with no line or anything on it, it only weighs in at 52 grams. Some flaws I noticed right away with my first printed prototypes. First, the friction hold cap was a little loose. I fixed it for future versions, but it'll still wear down with use, and the workaround to this is to use some tape to thicken up the cap ridge in order to keep it held in place more securely. I need to think up of a better solution for this in future versions. Secondly, the direction of force applied to the reel from the line being pulled is directly against the layer lines of the print, and if you watched my video on 3D print design for outdoors use, which I'll link up at the top and in the description, this is a structural weak point. I only have 10-pound fishing line on the reel right now, so I think the line would snap long before a structural failure of the rod, and that's assuming I was letting all of the force pull directly on the reel rather than my leading hand. Nonetheless, it is a concern that I'll be keeping in mind when testing. So on that note, I'm going to hop on my longboard and head out for some testing. So first thing I got to do is I actually got to get some tackle on this hook, because I don't actually have anything on there right now. I don't actually care if I catch anything, I just want to test out the rod, but I'm going to put one of these little guys on there. So, unhook the hook. Not my greatest hook job, but we'll see how it does. Alright, this is literally my first cast with this thing. I don't think I'm actually going to catch anything. I'll leave that bit of footage in, because people like that, assholes. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a revision where I drill a hole through the handle, and I'm going to put a piece of paracord in there, just a simple lanyard, so that I don't wind up tossing this thing. You ever play with the Nintendo Wii? You know those stupid Wiimotes? People would get so energetic with those that they would just fly right out of their hand and A, smash the Wiimote, and B, smash the TV. I'm gonna laugh if I actually catch anything, so that'd be silly. It's kind of hard for me to show the whole thing without my finger covering up part of it. That's what I'm working with here. That's what I'm working with. Alright, and then it's got the rod. You can see the line coming off it, and when I cast it, the line's just supposed to unspool like that. It doesn't seem to be getting caught up on anything so far. So I'll do a few more casts, see how it goes. deciding to switch out my tackle. If you remember my Lost Fisherman Survival Challenge, found these stupid rubbery toys in the dollar store. They're like insects. It was like $1 for a pack of like 10 of them. And I thought it would be absolutely hilarious to try using them as fishing bait. Yeet. So we'll try ever so slowly winding this back. Yeet this bad boy out. That one went nice and far. That landed a good, I want to say 30 yards away into the water. Trying to get my face in frame here. Obviously I didn't catch anything. Kind of would have been funny if I did, but whatever. The idea was to just get out here and test out the fishing rod. And so I managed to get a few casts out. So it didn't hang as much as I thought it would have on the burrs. I don't know if you can see that on camera there. There's some stringy bits from the printer. So it did hang up on that a little bit. I have a feeling if I wasn't so restricted by this bridge here and I could whip it as hard as I could to cast it, I think I would actually get a bit more resistance. So I'll definitely smooth out that ridge and smooth out the printing process so that it's a little bit smoother for that line to come off into the water. Also, like I said, I'm going to make a revision where right in the handle here, I'm going to put a hole all the way through. So obviously it's not going to be watertight anymore, but I think the ability to have a lanyard through there, through the actual handle, since the cap comes right out, you don't want the lanyard in the cap. Put a lanyard through there so that when you swing this, it doesn't go flying out of your hand like a Wiimote. Both those were suggestions provided to me by guys in the Oshawa Bushcraft group that I'm a part of. I hung out with those guys yesterday. We went and did a whole gamut of Army surplus and outdoor store. I was gone for like the whole day. It did perform to my expectations. It's actually not bad. It's got some structural integrity to it because I made it reasonably thick. So a few refinements to make, but otherwise I'm pretty happy with what I made. If you want one for yourself, you can check out the links in the description. I'll also leave a link to the 3D model file, so if you're a 3D printer and you want to make one yourself, you can just buy the model for far cheaper and 3D print it yourself. I think I have the model listed on My Mini Factory for like $5. And also, actually, this is a perfect opportunity for me to plug the fact that I have a new Patreon. So I have 6 tiers. Lowest tier starts at $2, I think. The second tier, which is the $5 tier, you get to help vote on upcoming videos. There's a whole list of cool features that each tier has, so I'll put that up on the screen right now. If you join the second last tier on my Patreon, you get access to not only all of my 3D print files as part of that tier, but any other files I've come up with for Mike in the Woods. So check that out if you're interested. Links in the description. It's another way to help support me. I'm going to keep making content regardless of whether you guys buy any of my stuff or support me on Patreon, but by doing that you help fund the channel a little bit, so there's a trade-off there. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing regardless of whether you guys just watch or help out, so don't feel obligated. So like I said at the beginning, if you are new to the channel, much like this 3D printed hobo fishing reel, I take a look at ways that fun futuristic technology can intersect with traditional outdoors experiences and the tactical lifestyle. So check out my other videos and consider subscribing if that's your thing. Hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm if you like this. And if you have any jokes or suggestions or ideas for maybe anything else I can try 3D printing for outdoors gear, leave that in the comments section down below. Thanks for watching, guys. Sun's getting down. I gotta get home. I'll catch you guys next video.